Hello and welcome to the English Waffle. This is the first episode of a mini-series about folk tales and legends from the British Isles. All you need to do is sit back and listen to a short folk tale or legend. Then we'll summarise the story for you, and you can hear it again. And then Mike and I will have a quick waffle about what we think of the story. Stories are taken from a collection called British Folk Tales and Legends, compiled by Catherine Briggs. And we'll post details of the publisher on the website. Bit of help with some of the vocabulary. U, meaning female sheep, comes up. Slipper, S-L-I-P-P-E-R. It's a kind of shoe which doesn't have laces or Velcro. You just need to slip it on and it fits to your foot, so size is quite important. And then rod, R-O-D, rod, a long thin metal or wooden bar, a bit like a strong thick stick. There are other words which perhaps may be a bit archaic and you may not catch them because they're not used so much in modern English, but hopefully not too many. Okay, so here's the first tale or story. It's called Ashey Pelt.
English listening.
Well, my grandmother, she told me that in the old days a ewe might be your mother. It is a very lucky thing to have a black ewe. A man married again, and his daughter, Ashey Pelt, was unhappy. She cried alone, and the black ewe came to her from under the greystone in the field and said,
"Don't cry. Go and find a rod behind the stone and strike it 3 times, and whatever you want will come." So she did as she was bid. She wanted to go to a party. Dress and horses all came to her, but she was bound to be back before 12 o'clock, or all the enchantment would go. All she had would vanish. The sisters, they didn't like her. She was so pretty, and the stepmother kept her in terrible conditions. She was most lovely. At the party, the prince fell in love with her, and she forgot to get back in time. In her speed a-running, she dropped her silk slipper, and he went over all the country to find the lady it would fit. When he came to Ashey Pelt's door, he did not see her. The sisters were busy a-nipping and a-clipping at their feet to get on the silk slipper. For the king's son, he had told the whole land that he loved that lady, and that he would marry whoever could fit on that slipper. The sisters, they drove Ashey Pelt out, to be out of the road, and they put her mind to the cows. They pared down their feet till one of them could just squeeze it on. But she was in such agony, I'm telling you. So off rode the prince, but when he was passing the field, the voice of the old ewe cried for him to stop. And she said, "Nip it foot and clip it foot, behind the king's son rides, but Bonnyfoot and Prettyfoot is with the Cathering hides." So he rode back and found her among the cows, and he married her. And if they live happily ever after, so may you and me.
English listening.
So that was the story of Ashey Pelt. Here's a quick summary. Ashey Pelt's father remarries a woman with 2 daughters, and these 2 daughters treat Ashey Pelt really badly. But a ewe tells her not to cry and to instead strike a stone with a rod 3 times, and she will get whatever she wants. Ashey Pelt wants to go to a party, so she's given a beautiful dress, silk slippers, and a ride so that she can go, but she must be back by midnight. While she's at the party, a prince falls in love with her and she dances the night away, forgetting to get back before her time was up. Ashey Pelt runs from the party and loses one of her silk slippers, which the prince then takes over all the country until he gets to her house. Ashey Pelt's stepsisters then try on her slippers, but the slippers don't fit. And then a ewe calls to the prince to stop him as he rides away, so that he can find Ashey Pelt in a field and take her as his wife.
English listening.
Okay. Thanks for that. Thanks for that summary, Mike. And Ashey Pelt. For me, this is what I really like about this particular story. Is that I had no idea there were other stories or other versions of the Cinderella story. That when you read Cinderella or you hear the story, the Cinderella story, you think, well, of course that's Cinderella. That's just one story, but you never stop to think, where did it come from exactly?
Yeah.
And so here we've got, apparently this is a much older version of the Cinderella story, which was kind of written and a version created by some French guy. I really like the ending and the just this poor girl's had this terrible time. She obviously treated pretty badly anyway, and then she manages. In this case, it's not a pumpkin, is it? It's not mice that changed into horses. But she managed to get to a ball, to a party, and then she gets the prince at the end, which is great. And I really like the way that at the end the conclusion is basically, well, if these guys can live happily ever after, then so can anyone, pretty much, given the story they've had. I really like that because I think that a lot of the time I think people complain too much. We should all be able to live happily ever after in many ways. I don't know, I think it's not true, but
I think my problem with this story is that it makes us believe that fairy tale endings happen, that there is this idea of the prince and this perfect ending where a fairy tale romance takes place. And does it really happen in real life? I'm not sure it does most of the time.
No, I agree. Because then you get on to things are fine for a while, then you have your next problem, don't you?
Yeah, and that's what relationships are about, isn't it? It's working through the problems, but knowing that there'll be good times and bad times.
Yeah. But it is a fairy tale, though, isn't it? I mean, and the point is, if you're like the sisters, then you're not going to get what you want. You're not going to get what you deserve. But if you're good like Ashey Pelt, then things are going to work out for you. Generally.
So bad things good things don't happen to bad people. Is that what we're saying?
No, that's not true at all, is it? But it's a fairy tale, though, isn't it? That's the whole point of fairy tales, is to give us hope. Actually, you get this a lot nowadays. You get a lot of people saying that TV series, films are not realistic enough. They don't represent the real world, even fantasy. And for me, that's a really dangerous path to go down. The idea that our fictional fantasy worlds should be just like the real world, I think, is wrong. I don't think that makes any sense. The whole point of fantasy is to give us an escape from the real world and to inspire us, to give us dreams, to give us hope. We don't want to be reminded the whole time that bad things inevitably happen.
That's a very interesting point, isn't it? Perhaps that's a good time to end and ask if listeners agree with that interpretation.
Yeah. What do you think out there? What do you think? Do you think we should have a division between fiction and reality? Or do you think all of our fiction should be representative of the world we live in? I don't know.
You can contact us at our usual address, which is contact@englishwaffle.co.uk. And we'll be back with the next British fairy tale in, a month time?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks a lot, Mike.
Thanks, Owen. Cheers, mate.
Keep waffling.
Keep waffling.
Welcome to the English Waffle, where we'll talk about random stuff. We'll take you on a journey where you'll find out soon enough that listening to the waffle is an entertaining way of sharing with you foreigners the things that British people say. Woo! So join us on the waffle and strap yourselves in for 10 whole earthly minutes of English listening.